What's that? You sword fighting?
No, but I am living with war.
Oh boy. Aggressive.
Yeah, living with war.
All right.
So this album, and by the way, we're back with you again. This is Quarantine
Oh,
Hearts.
back with you, yes.
Wearing the same clothes for some reason the next day.
Yeah, I don't know why.
This came out in 2006, and according to Neil Young, was quickly inspired by going to visit his daughter, and he saw some news story about soldiers being mistreated or something like that. Or
Where was he visiting her?
I forget. At college, I think it said.
Like in the States? Was he living here?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it said, so he was visiting, I think he saw something about how soldiers were being brought back on like multiple tours of duty, and they shouldn't have been. It's something, he got quickly inspired and started writing songs right on the spot there.
Yeah, I'd say this is very different than our last video, Prairie Wind.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of rocking out on this album.
This is a rockin' album, and he
Oh, yeah.
recorded it and mixed it and did soup to nuts in 9 days, and much like Ohio back in, what was it, 72? No, 70?
Right, where he just rushed
Yeah,
that song into
1970.
production.
He wanted to rush this to the market, as it were. And I have a particular piece of this because I was working for the Warner Electra Atlantic company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I remember being sort of like everyone, like, oh, everyone go to the conference room. We're going to listen to Neil Young. He's rush releasing this album.
Oh, that's when you
he
used to do
recorded
that,
it all
right?
in 9 days.
So, Sally, did you know that Daddy used to work for the
I
record
basically
label?
used to work for this.
And so when they were playing it, it would be like a big deal because they couldn't leak it. So everybody would have to go into a room. It would be like secure where they could all listen to it at the same time.
But I think they played Let's Impeach the President first, but then we heard the whole thing, if I remember. Maybe we heard the whole album. I can't quite remember. But then I was like, oh my God, how is he releasing this? So I think he released it digitally, actually, which was sort of an early instance of that. And then the physical came later. But he wanted to get it out as quickly as possible because it was like he was inspired, he made it, he recorded it, produced it, the whole thing, released it all very quickly. And the album sounds that way.
We got some real horns in this one.
There's horns, and it's almost sounds like a Crazy Horse album in its sort of slackness.
I was
but it's-
surprised it wasn't.
My favorite horn song is in the title track.
Living with War?
Yeah.
Bop, wait, yeah. It's the one, I'm living with war.
Yeah, there's a trumpet, just like a single trumpet in it.
Bop, bop,
Yep.
bop,
I mean, I'm assuming that these were all just
How does the trumpet
one
go?
takes, right? Live in the
feels like
studio,
it.
one mic, kind of not one mic, but it was clearly like recorded live, right?
Yeah, this has got to be a live
How
album,
does the
basically.
trumpet go in that one? Oh yeah. Bwah, 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 bwah. Yeah, I tried to make it sound like that. There's also some real horns in Shock and Awe. I love the
But
horns in
this,
Shock and
he was inspired. He wrote some quality songs. They're simple.
Scathing lyrics
Very
too.
scathing of the president at the time, George W. Bush.
Yes.
Yeah,
And his
and
Awe.
policies.
George W. Bush is in Let's Impeach the President.
that's
He
right.
says,
There's his
"Flip."
audio in it.
Yeah, he's
Right.
like, flip, and then it was like him talking, flop.
All I can tell you is that Osama bin Laden's a prime suspect. So I don't know where he is. Or, I just don't spend that much time on him.
Yeah. So this, like, and Dad and I remember this very clearly. There was at the time he had rushed us to a war that a lot of people didn't agree with. There's a lot of bad feelings around it, and
A lot of
he was
protests.
lots of protests. I remember Dad and I going to a lot of protests about it, walking in the streets of New York. But also, it's just interesting to think about the feeling then and how some of those bad feelings almost feel a little quaint compared to now.
This is all very, and a lot of what he's singing these songs is still relevant now.
Oh,
except
super
it's
relevant.
obviously way
Yeah,
worse.
let's talk about. I think that just like how on Prairie One, when I think that we all thought that One God maybe shouldn't have been on there. Maybe I just thought this, but the last track should definitely not have been on here.
Yeah, they added on America the Beautiful, just like a sort of pretty gospel choir rendition of it at the end. And we were thinking maybe it had something to do with the fact that it was a really critical record, right? It was talking highly critically of America, and maybe he felt like he wanted to round it off by showing that this was, still a country he cares about. I'm not sure. It felt a little postury, but maybe it was honest. I'm not really sure why he did it.
And that choir is on a bunch of these songs as the backing vocalist, which
And they
is an
sound-
interesting piece to this.
Which I like.
Yeah, the choir sounds good. It lifts his voice up a bit. It gives it an anthemic quality, a lot of the songs. They're
Yeah,
almost
my
on
favorite-
most of the songs.
My favorite choir is No Need.
No need.
Yeah.
Yeah, no need. That's the Restless Consumer, which that's one of my favorites on this.
Good song.
No need no terror squad. No want no damn jihad. Blowing themselves away in my hood.
No need, no more lies.
And also says something about diarrhea. On this.
Yeah, he's talking about. Well, there's we don't really see commercials, but when we would watch TV with commercials on it, there was a commercial for medicine. They would always talk about all these disgusting side effects at the end of it. So he's
Right.
commenting on that.
Right. So, the other cool thing is this is produced by the Volume Dealers, who's like Neil Young's like third band.
Stray Gators,
This Note's for
Crazy
You.
Horse.
And the Volume Dealers were the
This note's
same.
for you. Yep.
Yep, the same band that did Freedom and This Note's for You,
This note's for you.
This is hiding your
Freedom,
face, your
and-
sword.
Really?
Yes.
which is basically Nico Bolas, L.A. Johnson, the producer, Chad Cromwell drums, Rick Rosas bass, and Tommy Bray trumpet. So those trio, the bass drummer and the producer Johnson. That's the Volume Dealers, I
This
guess,
note's
with
for you.
Nico Bolas.
This note's for you. Freedom and this. Yes.
Yeah, there might have been one other one in there, but so this album, he slapped this thing together quick, and it really worked. This album is got strength to it. The songs have got good hooks. I love the first song, After the Garden's great.
Yeah, great song.
There's really no bad song. I agree, The American the Beautiful didn't
That's
need
not.
to be there.
I don't think you can really consider that to be part of it. Though.
No.
It's not his
Yeah.
song. It's just like a thing they capped it with. So I'm not even really placing that in my opinion of the record.
Famous piece.
Yes.
And looking for a leader, he just did a new version of this
Yeah.
this year on
Did
his
he?
website.
Maybe we
Kingston.
should
Yeah.
insert that in right here.
Looking for a leader to bring our country home. Reunite the red, white, and blue. Yeah, we had Barack Obama, and we really need him now. The man who stood behind him has
Right.
Looking
Oh,
for a leader, sure.
interesting. Looking for a leader, they were talking about who was going to replace W.
Right.
And they were saying, what were they saying? Maybe it'll be a woman or a black man after all. They talked about Colin Powell. They talked
Right.
about Obama, who was a rising star, who actually did replace him. I don't know who they were saying was a woman. Were they talking about Hillary again? Was that? Or was it
can't remember.
Condoleezza? I know that she
Maybe
was
it
in the
was
running. But it was interesting that they're talking, like, Silas, like right now, there's a very hated Republican president in office, which was the same as the guy who was in at the time. And oftentimes when in this country, it'll swing from like one, like when there's a disliked person of one party, it'll swing the other direction. So they were thinking that maybe it would go a little bit more progressive,
Yeah.
which is what people are hoping for now, except our current choice
We
is
don't know about that.
not super progressive.
So this, this was Neil
Still
at his
voting
best,
for him, though.
To be clear, Neil at his most, he's scrappiest and sort of, and great, inspired. He's super inspired on this album.
Yeah, he's
90s.
fired up. Fired up!
Came out in
Ready
May
to go.
of 2006, and then the addendum to this album
That was interesting.
is a weird story. Now, this is Living with War in the beginning. Living with War, I thought before I reinvestigated, and I like, oh, maybe this is gonna be the cooler version. And I liked Living with War, but I'm like, oh, without a choir, maybe it's gonna sound even more raw and even more sort of angry.
But no.
Just felt a little thin.
Sounds a little thin. Now, these were the very first mixes he did. The choirs were all added at the end of this.
Yes, but in the beginning has No America the Beautiful.
Right, you
True.
took that off because that's just a chorus. But I guess they did a song. It sounds like they did a song a day, and then they mixed it as a rough mix each day. And this was those earliest mixes. So it's kind of a cool thing to have to go with it. But I actually do prefer the choir version.
I'd say it was interesting, but totally not necessary.
Yeah, and this came out like 6 months later. Like all of a sudden,
Weird.
like, you know what? Let's just take that choir off. Put it out. DVD, CD, DVD. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a DVD to this. We can watch
Got the
that.
money. You can do what you want.
We part watched the DVD. Oh, wait, did we?
We didn't
no,
watch
we
it.
didn't.
We'll check it out. Maybe
We
interesting.
watched the DVD for Pearl. Well, part of it.
I'm ready to
Last
give my
thoughts?
shakies
We
on
didn't
this. Last
We
thoughts?
didn't talk about one song.
What's that?
Families we did not talk about.
Yeah, that was one of the earliest ones he wrote, I guess. One of the first ones he wrote for this project when he got
Family.
inspired. Yeah. Good
It's like
song.
a 2-minute song, but
Quick.
Mom said that she did not.
I wasn't crazy about the version on the Living with War in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I liked the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked at the end of that, and in the beginning, this random guy's like, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I know. You like studio banter again. All right.
Strong
So,
album.
those
This,
are our last
not
thoughts?
necessary. We're not going to grade this.
No.
Right? Shakies, we're just going to
Nah.
we'll put that over here.
All right.
How many
Yeah.
shakies for Living with War, Silas?
I'm gonna give Living with War 7 shakies.
Okie doke.
Nice, solid number.
Yeah.
I know that I.
was-
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna do 7.5, but no need America the Beautiful.
Okie dokie.
Don't get it? No need.
No need.
No need. So
No.
I'm at 7.5
No need
shakies because
America the Beautiful.
I really like this album completely. I mean, I know I gave Freedom and like Sleeps with Angels 8 or 8.5, so like I don't feel like it's quite that good for me, but this
What'd
is
you
nice.
say,
It's got some good songs on it that I would definitely come back to.
7 something?
7.5.
Yeah.
7.5 shakies on Living with War.
I'm going 8 shakies on this. Yeah, 8 shakies. I liked it. I felt like I like when he's fired up. I thought he had something to say, and I've noticed kind of a theme with, in this project, people have been commenting about what ones they like the most, and it usually has to do with a personal connection and something that resonates with them. And I just, remember this time in my life, like being in my early 20s and really caring about injustice. I'm not saying, but it's just like it was a different kind of involvement. There's a different kind of reactivity and like purpose that you have when you're seeing that kind of thing when you're younger, and reacting to other atrocities with a different sort of slant now. But I think it just resonated with me, and I remember this feeling, and I think he captured it really well. And I thought it was really interesting, and I just liked it.
Cool.
And I liked the choir. I thought it was cool. It's
Choirs,
like I was
yeah.
saying, it reminded me of like something you would hear in like in a community theater kind of
Sure. Well,
situation.
Greendale. It sort of was reminiscent of Greendale, really.
I like this better than
Can
Greendale,
we
though.
not talk about
Okay.
Shock and Awe?
Do you want to say something about Shaka?
Well, and Flags of Freedom. I believe Flags of Freedom has some interesting lyrics in it, right?
Yeah, we can't get into the lyrics right now, though.
We're-
But yeah, I agree with
No,
you.
I
We're
know,
wrapping
but
it up.
The line I was like, yeah,
There are
today's
great lyrics in this.
Today's the day our younger son is going up to war, fighting the age-old battle we sometimes won before. Flags that land on Main Street are blowing in the wind. These must be flags of freedom flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much about sort of, America having to deal with being drawn into war and how it affects everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Shock and Awe has got some awesome horns in it.
Yeah, that was
Shock
a
and
whole,
Awe's good.
That was a whole battle strategy that they were using.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Quarantine
with
Arts
war.
will be back with you for Calm Dreams 2.
Oh, you don't like Chrome Dreams too.
And we'll talk about it on the next one. I remember hearing it in the car one time.
All right. See you next time.
Take care.
Bye.